We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. How are you? It is Professor Jamila Franklin. Here we are again with Great Lives on the Rise. And we have the beautiful Amy Freese with us today. And she's going to give you more information about her wonderful, wonderful businesses, really, and her wonderful, wonderful background and career. And I just can't wait until you hear how fabulous this beautiful woman is. Before we get started, I have to give you a little bit of information about who I am. I am Professor Jamila Franklin. I am the founder of Great Lives on the Rise. And just give you a little snippet of how it came about. I was walking one day with one of my walking buddies, and then this information just came as a download into my consciousness that said, you know, you need to do something for people who are 50 plus because there's nothing out there for them. I said, I got to thinking, and I'm an activist, okay? Anything that's really, really advocating for people's rights or whatever, that's me. So I got to thinking, I said, that's true, except Medicare and excuse me, AARP. And I said, well, my friends are not old and haggard and bent over. So they don't need a lot of those pharmaceutical drugs. They're not taking them. And then for AARP, they have a very conscious mindset and they're very active and they're vibrant. So they're not retired. Even if they're no longer working, they're still very active in their lives. So I said, okay, what should I call it? And then I said, Gray Lives Matter. It's overused. And then I thought, Gray Lives on the Rise. I said, oh, I like that. Lives rise with rise. And also, it has nothing to do with your hair color. Your hair does not have to be gray. You don't even have to have hair. It can be long hair, short hair, no hair, bald. For men, for women. And then I said, it needs to be global. This energy would say, you do not need to restrict it just to your location, because I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, okay? Lord, nationally within this country, it needs to be global. And am I talking to people whom I know globally, they were having the same issues. They were not being honored because they were 50 plus. So I said, I had a movement going, right? And this energy said you really need to have it branded because you can have a podcast. And I had a podcast about 5 years ago for 5 years. And it did okay, but it didn't really stick in the minds of people's consciousness. It was called higher consciousness, right? But the thing was that people didn't really, they liked it, but they didn't really connect with it the way in which I thought they should have. So I said, okay, let me have a groundswell first and then bring on the podcast. So we had the name, then we had the consciousness raising. We don't call ourselves old. We don't call ourselves seniors. We say we are seasoned, mature, vibrant, active, and just full of life. So then people started to jump on the bandwagon. And then I said, we need to do some branding. And so the online store came about. So both Amy and I have on our Gray Lives on the Rise shirts. We're twinning today. We are twinning. So
yes, we are. More ways than one.
Yeah, people jumped on that. And then I said, okay, now we're ready for the podcast. So that's a little bit about the history of Gray Lives. And I am a college professor of psychology, and I am a spiritual life coach, an award-winning author, certified Reiki master, certified aromatherapist, certified metaphysician. I have done a lot of different things in my life, right? A lot of different things. So, and one of the products that I have in my company that's sponsoring this is called Peace Be Still. Oh, okay. It is an aromatherapy product that is very good. It deals with stress, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity within children, sinus congestion, sinus headaches, menopausal issues, everything that's a stressor. And it's all natural because I'm holistic and natural and vegan. So all you do is and I make the products on my website myself. You take it, put a couple of drops in your hand, and as you can see, it's clear, no additives, no food colorings or any of that. And you rub it together and you
Oh, I want some.
it takes care of all the stress. Is really, really good. Really, really good. It's the #1 seller dealing with stress. So you just breathe it in and you put the rest of it on you for flies and mosquitoes, and they will not come near you. They won't. It is all natural. And you don't take it by mouth. It's amazing. So go to my website to look up Jamila Sense. Peace Be Still is one of my products, and it's Oyinde, Oyinde Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com, OyindeEnterprises.com. You will see everything. You will see our merchandise for Gray Lives on the Rise too. So join us in the movement. You don't want to be left behind, people. We're taking home. Hey, the train has departed from the station, so we want you on the train. Don't get left behind. Now that I've done my infomercial for my wonderful companies, I'm going to introduce the lovely Amy Freese. Okay, Amy Freese is the founder and life design coach at the Empty Nexter, and that's spelled Nexter. I love that title. Don't you like next? What's next in your life? And she embodies the essence of Nexter with over 3 decades of experience throughout her journey. Now, she looks like she's in her 30s, right? So how can she have 3 decades of experience? Okay. She has constantly and consistently coached and encouraged and supported women, weaving this commitment through each phase of her life. Whether she was thriving as a fashion representative in Chicago, leading conversations and teaching as a women's thought leader, or owning a design business in Nashville, Amy has seamlessly aligned her pursuits with her personal dreams and desires. Alongside her professional achievements, she proudly embraces her roles as a devoted wife of 35 years and a mother of 3. So she married when she was 5, okay? Now retired, Amy continues her impactful journey with the Empty Nexter, where she leads and coaches retired women in designing a retirement season that authentically reflects their true selves. Her mission is to empower them to create a fulfilling and vibrant life, ensuring their retirement and a time of growth and flourishing from the inside out. I love that. Okay. Like, she is ageless. I'm telling you, this lady doesn't look like she's beyond 30, right? But her background is impeccable. I just love it. So she's had a background in the fashion industry. So I asked her if she were a model, because she looks like a model to me. She's had a career in the fashion industry, and she's a businesswoman. Now in this stage in her life, she's desiring and she's doing an amazing job of empowering women to see who they are. Because when I'm a coach too, and usually when I lead seminars, I ask people, particularly women, who are you? The first thing they do is they tell me their roles. I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, I'm this, that, and I said, that's not who you are. Those are your roles. So what Amy is doing now, which is really, really wonderful, is she is allowing women to really find their authentic selves apart from these traditional roles. So welcome, Amy. Thank you so much. We're so happy to have you with us today, beloved. So tell us, how did this happen? I mean, you have a very busy life, a mother of three, a wife, a business owner. So what inspired you? No, let me go even further back. Let's roll it back. Okay. Tell us what little Amy was like and how she had these amazing visions to pursue these different careers that you pursued, and now this career that you're in now that you're retired. What was little Amy thinking when she was young?
Great question. First, thank you so much, Jamila. What a blessing to meet you.
Yeah.
And I feel like we are kindred spirits, and I'm so happy
Yes.
to support you. And, our hearts are aligned. So whatever we can
Yes.
do to inspire other women is such a
Yes.
joy. And it's nice to be able to share that with you. So thank you. So
Thank
that
you.
question, that's a big one. So what was little Amy doing? Well, I'll keep it short and sweet. But I grew up on a farm, a farm outside of a no stoplight town in central Illinois. I am the youngest family of. I have three older brothers,
Mm.
and yes, I am the young one, and my mom took me by her side and she's like, "You are not going to be a tomboy." Well, I was. I've done all the things, walked beans, detasseled corn, got into all kinds of, mischief, but I said from a young age, I've always had this capacity, and I've asked
Mm-hmm.
this question myself, like, when did this begin?
Mm.
When did this begin of wanting to speak out, to
Yeah.
share, to encourage? And it really did start out in leadership roles as far back as elementary, mostly middle school, junior high.
Mm.
Um, just in certain leadership capacities in my small town. I only had a graduating class of 36 people. So
Wow.
with that being said, there were not a lot of people to do a lot of the things. It fell on a small number. It was already a small number, but
Mm-hmm.
basically I was able to lead student council, be their representative, then be class president in high school, cheerlead, be in the band,
Wow.
work the popcorn stand, and host, and decorate for the homecoming dance or whatever, sock hop, whatever. This was happening middle school through high school.
Mm.
And I think that kind of instilled some leadership capacity and some confidence in and honestly, I think I did a lot of it not always being confident.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is a continuous muscle that we have to flex.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
as 50-plus-year-olds, we have to really hold on and know who we are and not let society or others' opinions or attitudes affect that or poke holes in our confidence. So
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of things just I think it was that inborn that I wanted to live out and not be on the sidelines of
Mm-hmm.
life from a young age. I also have to say, though, that I had mentors, a grandmother and a mother, most importantly, who were entrepreneurs, namely my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I have always shared that my mom, she was a mom of in the 70s, raised us in the 70s and, early 80s while we were under her roof, her and my dad's roof. But she never went around preaching, so to speak. You got to live passionately. You've got to find your
Mm-hmm.
gifts. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
live out your talents. Me,
Mm.
on the other hand, I do say all that, but she did that. She just lived it.
Mhm.
with 4 little kids living far away from, 8 miles from a community, racing kids back and forth when they're young and all that. She did that while running a business. She has been my quintessential nexter that I have followed, just seeing her live out. She never had that, maybe I shouldn't do this or maybe I shouldn't do that. She just did
Mhm.
it. And that was
Mhm.
in a time when a lot of the women weren't always working. She did have a lot of the women in our community. She provided jobs for them as seamstresses in her
Mm.
design business. So I allude that that's kind of where that started, and it never stopped, Camila. Never
Yeah.
stopped. I don't think when you are designed, we're all designed in unique ways.
Right.
And I think oftentimes ign- we try to like ignore some of that because
Mhm.
of what are other people going to think? They're going to think I'm crazy for doing this and wanting to
Mhm.
do that. And I
Mhm.
often go back to my mom didn't think it was crazy opening her bridal shop in our family's garage 8 miles out of
Mhm.
town. That was one of her third businesses that is still thriving in Illinois.
Mhm.
She sold the business, but because now she lives in Nashville. But I never, so there were times when I didn't embrace how I was wired. And
Mhm.
like when I was a young adult with my first 2 kids, I kind of wanted to be a stay at, I wish that I had the desire to stay home full time with my children.
Mm.
I wished that I had that desire. I loved my children. Of course, right? I embraced being their mother, but I've always had that yearning to step out and do something that spoke to me individually, not
Right.
that
Well,
was clouded with the role or the responsibilities.
yeah, and I think sometimes too, and this used to be an issue for people at 50 plus because some people were still in the traditional mindset that women should stay at home with their children. And then if they did stay at home with their children, they didn't have a real job. They were not professional. And so that was an insult because they took time off from their career to stay at home with their children. And then,
A hugely important job.
yeah, it's a
Um,
very important job. And
and
then there
I
were,
applaud.
yeah, there was, and some women were, at a crossroads and they were having conflict about that, inner conflict, because if they went to work, like you were saying, then they missed being around their children and they would feel the emotional pain for not
Yeah.
being with their children. So I know that was very, very like trying because I know of people
Yeah.
who went through
It
that.
is a very trying time, the push and pull
Yeah,
that
yeah,
women
yeah,
feel. And I think most importantly is to do what is speaking to you from your heart. Because
yes,
if you're living from within, the people around you are going to be positively affected. So
yes,
I laud mothers who choose that, like, I am going to be home and not miss a second, and they are completely content. I laud them, I applaud
yes,
them.
yeah,
But for the women who are feeling discontent, and this is a seasonal now, now I'm focused on retirement because I've raised my 3 children who
mm,
are all, very productive individuals in society, but they saw a mom. Thankfully, I'm an entrepreneur, so I was able
mhm,
to do things that worked around their lives. And so that's not always something that people can do. So I took that, I didn't take that lightly. I was
mhm,
grateful that I was able to pick and choose my hours and when and
mm,
where, and more flexibility. I had the best of both worlds, I guess. But
mhm,
my
mm,
point is that I sometimes was like, gosh, I wish I could be like the other moms, and was a little embarrassed or tried to play a little lower, little
yeah,
quieter, which that doesn't work.
Yeah,
when you're not choosing authentically. So I've
exactly.
had to completely, close my ears and my eyes and listen from within. And
Exactly.
that makes for a happier woman, makes for happier environments.
Yeah,
We are the pulse of a lot of activities, whether it's in our home or even outside your home. The people we come in contact with, what we're feeling inside can oftentimes be displayed on the outside and can affect those around us. So I always say just follow your heart, follow
hmm
what you are feeling and explore that. And there you will find your sweet spot.
yeah. But I think because of your dual role as a career woman slash businesswoman and as a mother housewife, that you
Mhm.
can speak to the empty nesters who are now desiring to redefine themselves, who did not take the step that you did. They felt compelled to stay in the traditional role,
Yeah.
even though their hearts were yearning to do something outside of the home. And I think that they may not have regretted it consciously, but unconsciously. What could have happened if I had stepped out? And so now that's where you come in, because even though they
Yes,
may not have stepped in earlier in their lives, now that they have the children out of the home, this is the second go round. And
exactly.
so they can now live out their passion and their dreams.
Exactly. And there's no time like the present, and it's
Exactly.
never too late. Like, because I believe everything that's in you, it was there back then
Yes.
and it's here now. So now
Yes.
let's just open up that gift box that has your name personally on it
Yes.
because you raised your children. Now it is the time to take away. You can be a little more selfish, more
Yes.
self-centered, whereas
Yes.
before you couldn't as much. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is, and that's it's a hard train of thought to get used to if you're used to always being the giver and the doer and the take care. Sometimes the hardest person to take care of is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to kind of get to know yourself again.
Well, you do, and give yourself permission
Exactly.
to be your authentic self. And I think what
Exactly.
you do is, like I said, so amazing because you are creating the space for women to to step into. It's okay for me to be a little not self-centered in a negative
More
way, but to
like
be
just
self-centered.
having some self-reflection,
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah,
self-focus, and
yeah.
getting quiet, being still, and listening to what's happening with your mind and your heart. And are they connecting? And if there is a
Mm-hmm,
disconnect, where can that where can that gap be filled?
mm-hmm,
And it really is, it's not an overwhelming um, exercise or tools or strategies. It's more of just allowing, because I have like a three-step it's a 3D design
mm-hmm.
program that is really just allows, like you said, that permission to your giving that permission to yourself. And we
Yeah,
hear this all the time in our coaching world, peeling back the layers, peeling the onion, but it
right,
truly is peeling the layers of your life, one layer at a time, not
right.
going back in the past um, to be regrettable about it, but
Mm-hmm,
to look at those things in your past that maybe got put up on the dusty shelf in the dusty
mm-hmm,
dream basket, take those down, revisit. You asked me about when I was young, right? And
mm-hmm.
that's where it starts oftentimes. What were the things that you dreamed of when you were a little girl? A young woman, fill in the blank at the
Yeah.
age. What were those things that lit you up? Everybody has those, but we oftentimes don't stop long enough to go, wow, what was a really great scenario or time or season or event in my life, and what was taking place? What was it making me feel like? What was my energy? What was my mindset? Those are all clues. And then those things that you're good at. I mean, we were all gifted with certain abilities and strengths. Now we have to hone
Right.
those, right? We aren't just given those and we're great right out of the box. But what are those pieces that kind of make that individual woman tick? Because it's different for everyone.
It
Some
is.
people would never want to do what we're doing, talking, speaking, but that's what makes us tick. That's what
Right.
that's how, that's a thread in our tapestry that kind of keeps things glued when we're doing those things, right? For someone else, might be doing something much quieter, something much more individual, but still gives them that joy. So I really encourage and challenge women to allow that time for quiet and still, and just kind of doing an inventory of those key moments, those highlights, those blissful days, blissful moments. Or also, you could do the opposite, those things that didn't bring you joy and you don't want to revisit those. So you can just put those off to the side. And that can be, and oftentimes with retirement, we are given, society is given, oh, go to the pickleball court, go to the gardening club, go to the, um, certain things. Well, that didn't make me get excited about doing those kinds of things. I wanted to take that common thread from my past, going all the way back to middle school, but each season I layered upon what I enjoyed doing, and just pursuing that kind of unraveling that thread and weaving it into how it can be used now.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think what's so really interesting, I like the way that you did the play on words, the empty nexter. So rather than spelling it Nester, is Nex, because you're looking at the next phase in a woman's
yeah.
life. So let me ask, may you share with us an example of one of your clients who came to you and she didn't know what to do with her life, and she was an empty nester, and you were able to have her be a nexter. So can you walk us through one of the ways in which you have helped clients?
There's been time, this one in particular was someone who had stepped away from her years of doing what she loved. She was a stylist and a closet, organizing women's closets out of Chicago. And she's in her upper 60s, retired, a grandmother, but she always had this dream of wanting to pursue something else, but she was kind of clouded over on how to pursue it. She created this little, not little company, this little company where she's still using her design and her styling. It's called the Ribbon Collection. And she's upcycling pieces of clothing. So she's still doing things that she did back then, but it took a while because we had to go back into her arsenal of things that made her, light up what she was good at. Start with what you're good at, where
Yeah.
you found fulfillment in. But at first, it was, I'm stuck. I feel like I'm in quicksand. I don't know how to move to the next, that next spot. Not the next spot, but just kind of take action. And so a lot of times it's just that encouragement and support and that reminding of, wait, but you were given such great accolades. doing
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this, but differently and flesh out, live out what you've been dreaming about. She's been dreaming about this for like 20 plus years.
Yeah, and you were the push that she needed because sometimes
Yeah.
people have these wonderful dreams. And I remember Miles Monroe, the late Miles Monroe, who was the minister, who said, the cemetery is the richest place you would like to go because all the rich dreams are there. People who never self-actualize their dreams.
Yes.
They
So
they
true.
they transition with their dreams inside them. So what you've been able to do is to tell women that this is the second or third go round. You don't have to now still be in the wish stage
Yeah.
because you now can do what truly makes your heart sing and
Yeah.
what truly brings you joy. And I love that. I think that that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's given her a whole new lease on life. I mean, she loves waking up and what am I going to do next today? Whereas before the question was, what's next?
Yeah, yeah. So you
So
were
it's not
in
this
so
huge question mark anymore. It's like, what do I get to do next?
yeah, yeah,
It's an attitude shift. It's a
yeah,
perspective shift. And
yeah.
sometimes it takes someone else who's gone before you
Mm-hmm.
that can help get you out of your own way, because typically we are the biggest stumbling blocks.
Mm-hmm.
We are in our own
Yeah,
way because
yeah,
of um, the gremlins in our mind.
yeah.
This, but the biggest, not question, but the biggest thought to kind of uh, pivot you or to make that really to listen to yourself is,
Yeah.
do you want to live? Do you want to wake up one day and be like a shoulda, coulda, woulda,
Mm-hmm.
or like regrets? Because especially I think most at this time of our age, it's now.
Yeah,
It's now.
it is. It is. And I think what you
Whereas,
said is, go ahead. Uh-huh.
well, I was just going to say, as whereas before when we were raising children, or maybe working that career that maybe we loved, or maybe we
Mhm.
were just really needing to collect that paycheck. Everybody has a different scenario, right, on why they
Mhm.
work their careers. But you're like, someday,
Yes.
I call it the someday shelf, right?
Yeah.
And then that someday shelf the someday shelf keeps coming closer and closer. Whereas it better be today,
Yeah,
because life is going fast.
it really
And
is.
here we are. We're supporting great lives on the rise, right? Like, wait,
Yeah.
great lives empty next to her. We thought we had all this time in front of us, right? And here we are, in our midlife years,
Yeah.
where we thought old people just existed.
I know
So
we're redefining that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
here we
Yeah.
are, and the time is now. We have to, if there's something in a woman's heart that they are wanting to do, I say take it off that someday shelf, take it out of that dream basket, make it happen. Jamila, you and I have both heard, both read of the women in their 70s and 80s who
Yeah.
are embarking on amazing things.
Yeah.
It could be graduating college, or it could be starting a business. I mean, some of the most amazing women did not get started until their midlife.
Yeah.
So it's not too late. And it's
Yeah.
never too late to begin again, right? You got to go through a few doors to figure out really, truly where that sweet spot is for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very, very true. I think too, what you're doing for women, which is really great, is like I said before, they need to give themselves permission, and you're giving them permission as well. You are basically underscoring their own permission. A lot of it deals here with the psyche. So if we keep telling ourselves, well, I've finished my career and I've raised the children, whatever. So I'm just going to sit back here and not do anything. And what happens is the people who are not active when they're 50 plus and or younger, the brain tends to atrophy in a way, because there's no new information or knowledge coming in to feed it. So then intellectually, you have intellectual uh, atrophy because there's nothing coming in to help you grow. And I think it's really important for people to connect with you so they
Yeah.
can see that there are so many options out there that they can pursue.
There
They
are
can,
so many options, and that's where two heads are better than one, like getting the
yeah,
creative juices flowing together,
yeah,
bouncing off, brainstorming together. Because when you're maybe struggling yourself or not seeing clearly,
mm-hmm,
it's just hard to see the forest through the trees. And
yeah,
having someone come in to be fresh eyes and to again, help peel back those layers and in a safe and transparent but
mm,
trustworthy space. Because sometimes
mm-hmm.
our families
Oh yeah,
don't always understand where
yeah,
we're coming from, or they might even question, why are you even thinking about it? Why
yeah,
are you even
yeah,
worrying about it? You've done your thing.
yeah,
And however, there are women that are not ready to rest on their laurels of a job well done.
yes,
They are not ready to ride off into the sunset
right,
and relax for the next 30 years. You could
right,
do that a couple weekends out of the year, a couple weeks out of the year.
yeah,
But I have found that women want the empty nester women that I have found, the key things they are looking for purpose, daily
mm-hmm,
purpose.
yeah,
Boy, do I love to talk about that daily purpose impact. How do they create an impact? Big, small, it's an impact.
mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm. It's making
it
a
just gives
difference.
this, yeah, a fulfillment, a greater meaning. So many retired people, they feel it does rhyme, but it is true. It could be a mindset that you're expired, that can fall into midlife, 50 plus, 60 plus, 70.
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
expired. Nobody cares. Nobody is going
Yeah,
to listen. Nobody wants what I'm going to offer. How do you know until you try? We are
mm-hmm,
to continue to keep going and growing. I feel until we are not here any longer. We all have an assignment.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think it's true. But sometimes what happens is we end up doing other people's or fulfilling their dreams. So, for example, I know years ago, there were women over 50, 60 years ago, there were women who may have desired to be doctors. But back then, that wasn't socially acceptable. There were a few who ended up being medical doctors, but men, it was a male dominated field. And if you were a good wife or mother, whatever, you wouldn't pursue a career that would take you out of the home for a long period of time. So they put their desires on the back shelf because they started living out the desires of their parents who told them, you can't do this, you can't do this. Stay in your lane, stay in your
Yeah.
small
I'm so
box.
glad that's changing.
Yeah, oh yeah, stay in your small box. So I think
I,
what you're doing
yeah.
is really great to have women not stay in that box and
Yeah. I've been
basically
watching
redefine themselves.
redefine, evolve. And again, I can't stress it enough that it's only going to make the world around you, your environment, the people that you
Yeah,
have influence with, your peers, your family, they're going
yeah,
to be happier for it if they see a woman who is living out her in fullness from the
yes,
inside out. They
yes,
might at first be a little like, why, question, feel intimidated. A lot of times for spouses, I have found it's kind of an ego thing for
Mm,
the spouse
mhm.
that, wait, well, why aren't I enough? You
Yeah.
know, that has nothing to do, this has nothing to do with you. I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
this, and we just have to like walk our lane to our march to our own beat. I've been
Mhm.
watching, rewatching for the second time, Lessons in Chemistry. Have you
Mm.
seen it?
I have not.
I think you would love it. I'm watching it for this. I've read the book
Uh-huh.
and now I'm watching it with my husband and he's loving it. But it's everything that you just mentioned. Some of
Mm.
those this is about a woman chemist in the 50s
Mm.
and a woman who was a lawyer who wanted to go to law school but didn't because she was having children. And
Mm.
so I think you would really like it. Lessons in Chemistry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think you would totally love it.
Yeah.
Watch it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's the thing because I know, well, I came around at the same at a great time because women were knocking open doors, were kicking doors open. And
Yeah.
so I have female friends who are doctors and who did do well because when we came through, some of those stereotypes were falling along the wayside. But I have
Yes.
someone who was a friend of mine, former roommate, who desired to be a surgeon, and she desired to have a family and to be married and have a family. So I told her, I said, well, Marie, that wasn't her real name. Marie, you're going to have to make a choice. And that information today would not be the same. My
Right.
suggestion would not be the same because being a surgeon is, even as a male, it's like a
All in.
60-hour kind of commitment. And to
Not
be
for
married
the
and to have children too. So she ended up being a hematologist, which was far more practical
adaptable.
back then.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because she could be a mother, and then she ended up also being a minister on top of that. So there was no way she could have fit all that in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But men are able to do it because they don't have to deal with the
Exactly.
maternal
Exactly.
responsibilities of child raising and whatever. So they can go out and do these wonderful things, and women will have to put their interests back then.
Was
Both.
Marie I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. Was Marie satisfied and fulfilled being in the
And she
hematology?
was, I think becoming a hematologist helped her in
Fill that
fulfilling the
void?
role because she was contributing in a major way.
Yeah.
And as a surgeon, she was going to be contributing definitely in a major way.
Yeah.
And then also by becoming a minister, I think that offset because she really became interested in theology. So that offset,
Wonderful.
yeah, that
And
offset some of the things that she had to put on hold. So she made the compromise.
yeah, and I feel that compromises can be definitely blessed. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
that the desires of our heart, if they're made known, that they can align.
Mm-hmm.
They can align and be in sync, and there's a synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
And Marie learned or chose a way to, she basically did get the desires of her heart, a family, a home
Yeah,
life, and
yeah.
then still had this medical, which then I don't know if that opened up to the ministry, but I always call it divine orchestration. And sometimes you can't notice how divinely orchestrated your life is until you look in the rear view mirror,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Hindsight. And
Yeah.
I still like can scratch my head and go, wow, now I see why that happened and then why
Yeah.
this happened and then
Yeah.
that
In retrospect.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's really awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm always like, when am I going to not be so surprised? But I think it's good to be, like, wow, that was really awesome. Thank you, Lord. Like that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the time, you may not see it, you may think that you had to sacrifice something that you really desire to do. But the thing but the thing that's happening now, this is kind of like the energy for women, for females. You see women as CEOs of major corporations. You see women in all different kinds of leadership roles that would not have happened 20, 30, 40 years ago. So this is the energy of the female, of the women. It's not
It is. It
men.
is.
We're not uh, making disparaging remarks about you, and we're not
No,
kicking you to the curb. But it is the feminine energy that's now surfacing, and it's everywhere, and it's it can't be stopped because it's the time. It's the energetic
it,
time for
you're,
women to be exalted. So I think it's a really good time.
you're exactly right. And I think the more that we step out in faith,
Mm-hmm.
believe in ourselves, believe in what we've been blessed with to share,
Right.
other women will be inspired to do the same.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really, and having a program like yours, I think is really important because you're providing them with the support. Women can have these dreams and goals, but how do you do it if you don't have
Hard
a
to do it
coach?
alone. I
Yeah,
call them a solopreneur. Being a solopreneur.
yeah,
Feel like you're in a silo
yeah,
and you really have to bring people around you.
you do.
It
You really do.
changes the whole energy, that your whole being, if you have someone that you can bounce off of, or
Yeah.
even lament with, or say, I'm overwhelmed, like I want to
Yes,
do this, or I'm
yes,
thinking this, be acknowledged, validated, right?
yes,
That's key. That's the
yes,
first start.
yes. I think so. I agree so wholeheartedly with you because I talk about one of my sheroes that I really, really admired.
Love that
And
shoe.
I don't think she was given, or she didn't give herself permission to step outside and to bring in the team of supportive people to help coach her. And that's Tina Turner. I love Tina. Tina
I think we
died.
all do.
Yeah, but she died. She transitioned after having one or two strokes. She had cancer. She had a liver transplant. I mean, there were a lot of things medically wrong that were going on within her body because she was internalizing things, the abuse from her first marriage and some other things.
Yes.
Some,
Yes.
sexism, racism, she was
Yeah.
internalizing it. And
She's
even
a,
though she was a Buddhist, sometimes you just, like you said, Amy, you need to talk. You need to have a circle of friends around you, women, female friends if you're female, male friends if you're male, and then if you desire to have both, because you will internalize it, especially if you're desiring to have a second career after the
yeah.
children and everyone has
We're
gone.
not meant, we're not meant to walk this life alone.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think men need men.
I do. Yeah,
Okay. And I think that they're realizing that more and more.
yeah,
Okay. That men need men, just like women need women.
yes, I
And
agree.
authentic, transparent, where you can be vulnerable. You don't always have to have the smile on, or that.
Yes,
Be
yes,
real, own our emotions,
yes,
own our struggles,
yes,
own our celebrations. To
yeah,
find a woman to celebrate with is beauty,
yeah,
right? You and I celebrating each other,
yeah,
an abundance mindset, not a
yes,
scarcity. There's
yes,
enough for everyone to go around.
yes, yes,
And we all have our unique assignment. And that
yeah.
sounds silly, but there is something special for everyone to live
Oh,
out.
yeah.
And it saddens me that there are a lot of women who are living halfway.
That's true. That's true. Living small in the contained box. I think that that's very true. So I love what you are sharing with us, Nancy. I mean, I'm getting Nancy from Amy. I don't know. I was thinking about someone else. So, Amy, what I would like for you to do at this point is to share with people your contact information. How can they get in touch with you?
Hey, would love for anyone who is struggling in this transition, whether it's from your career or as a mother, and now you're home, your nest is not as full and it's
Mhm.
empty, and you're just struggling with what is there for me in this season. There's something I'm longing to do, but I can't define it. So I
Yeah.
would encourage you to reach out to me. I get you, I understand you,
Mm-hmm.
because I have struggled. We didn't really get into my struggle with retirement, and that's what perpetuated me sharing.
We'll share a little bit with the few minutes we have left, if you don't mind.
Well, initially, the empty nexter was about that next, creating that next.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a beautiful sidebar that I want women to get excited about. But I found out early on that I needed to share my struggle, my loss of, I felt identity. And I really kind of hate to admit it, but I'm admitting it because I want other women to feel safe in admitting it too.
Mm-hmm.
I know my identity. I'm a woman of faith, but when you have lived your whole life, I'm going to say striving,
Mm-hmm.
executing, accomplishing, whether it's raising your children, running a business, being there on the daily. When I retired from my business, I was there on the daily. I was leading. I got energy and fulfillment from leading my teams and the
Mm-hmm.
women. And when that went away and my husband had another idea, I felt like a ship with no sail. And so it
Yeah.
was a very dark time. And I knew that God was not done with me yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how I was going to adapt with my husband's needs, what he expected. And so we had to, that C word, compromise. And I had to just make my voice known
Yeah.
and, and be like, we're married 35 years. We were married 33 at the time. This was 2 years ago. And I just had to own it because I knew that I would not be able to live out the way that Amy has always lived out
Mm-hmm.
from the inside to the outside. So with the empty nexter, my heart is really to meet with that and support that woman who is struggling behind closed doors,
Yeah.
who feels isolated, lonely, lacking clarity and purpose, and then
Yeah.
springboard and find your common thread. But you can contact me at theemptynexter.com. That is my website. And there is a way that you can read all about me, probably more than you want to know, but it really kind of takes you back and through and all of that. So you can do a deep dive if if you desire. But if you want to just reach out for a discovery call and say, hey, this is what's going on. Is there a fit? And we'll
Mm-hmm.
figure that out first. And there is a coaching, opportunities for one-to-one support. If you want to, commit to that, or if you just want a custom fit conversation focused on one key area that you are struggling with, we will work it out, girl, from gal to gal, woman to woman. And I do have 30 plus years of experience in
Okay.
my artillery, more than that. Um, don't let the blonde hair fool you. So, um, so I would, yes, totally welcome. They can also, anyone can follow me on Instagram at the empty nexter. Join my Facebook private group. I'm bringing the nexters together so we can have a place of support and engagement within the community. So I really hope, my goal was to just help one person and let them be heard and their next be found if that's what they're desiring.
I think I think that's amazing. You can tell that you're very, very committed and passionate about assisting women to get to the next level. And
Yes, I am. Yes. I think you might have froze.
I think that that's amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. I think it's wonderful.
you.
And I so appreciate you and your wonderful passion and compassion for women and for humanity. So, Amy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
On this wonderful, beautiful day. And so for those of you who would like to get in touch with Amy, she's given you her contact information. We will also see it, you will also see it in the comments section. And please tell your friends about her and whomever you know, your family, friends, or whatever. If you're in this category, if you know of someone who's in this category that desires to take the next step, and she's not sure what to do, how to do it, when to do it, Amy is your person. All right, beloveds, thank you so much again.
You so much.
And thank you, lovely Amy. This is the end of this episode, and we are Great Lives on the Rise. Now, please go to our store and see all of our wonderful online products in our store. You will be just so pleased, and the rest of the website as well. Thank you. So have a good day, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching this. Okay. Namaste, everyone. Take care. Until next time. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.